Hello everyone, as usual, a big welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be speaking about a story I read via an article printed by The Guardian. The video today does include some distressing and upsetting themes. We are going to speak about rape today, so the last thing I'd ever want to do is really hurt anyone or bother anyone, upset anyone with my videos. It's all about raising awareness here, as many of you guys will know. So if you will be upset or triggered by any of this in any single way, then please click off the video now. But for those of you who are staying with me for today's video, welcome to my channel. As previously mentioned, today I am going to be speaking on one victim's story, which focuses more on the fact that she refused to hand over her phone to the police whilst they were investigating her case. But I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, so let's start this from the very beginning. A woman who has asked to remain unnamed and anonymous was unfortunately raped at the beginning of 2018, and she visited a rape crisis centre not too long after the horrendous attack. I believe it was reported that she attended the crisis centre in that same week after the attack. And their investigators spent approximately 3 hours gathering and collecting evidence ready to put her case to the police. Then, a couple of months later, she finally gained the courage to actually go to the police station to report the rape, which is where the victim felt completely uncomfortable. Not only was she having to relive a horrendous crime that should never ever have happened, but she explained, quote, "They told me that the rule was that victims had to give their phones in order for the investigation to continue. They said they would have complete freedom to search through all of it, that they didn't know how long they were going to keep it for, and that they would use any of my personal data in any way they wanted." End quote. And I think many of us can agree that our phone is incredibly important and it's very, very personal. We hold a lot of personal information on our mobile phones and other technology devices like laptops. Our phone, without a doubt, holds so much private information, whether that be private pictures, text messages, and other conversations. Anything like that. It has all sorts of things on there that you might not want to share with people, and that's totally understandable. Unfortunately though, in this case, after consulting with lawyers, the victim did not want to continue the investigation. The lady actually sums up very well why she did what she did and why she chose to end the investigation right there. She stated that, quote, "The crime itself was an invasion of my privacy and I didn't really want to go through that again. So I decided to try and move on with my life through counselling," end quote. She then continued on to say that, quote, "They were going to be revealed to anyone and everyone involved in the case when all I was trying to do was get justice," end quote. And I completely understand where she's coming from, because of course there are going to be things on this poor lady's phone that the police will find that have absolutely nothing at all to do with the investigation. And I think honestly it's a shame that the victims need to basically hand their lives over via their phones for the authority to continue on their investigation. The Guardian did state that the lady does know the name of the person that raped her and that she also has a picture of him, and she also knows other personal information, like, for example, where he lives. So in this case, she essentially has quite a bit of evidence and she has a lot of what she needs. The victim explained, quote, "Who in their right mind would go ahead with a complaint when this is how they are being treated? People are just going to get away with rape," end quote. Since it has now been over a year since the case was brought to the rape centre's attention, they have since destroyed all of the evidence they established because the police did not end up using any of it. And I do hope that despite the absolutely awful, horrendous, disgusting thing that happened to this lady, I hope that she is doing well. She is getting her life back on track. She's trying to move on with her life. I honestly do wish her all of the best, and I'm completely in agreement with her on this one. Obviously, it's to gather any kind of information. I understand that. But the thing here is that the police backdate around 7 years of information from any rape victim's phone. And I don't quite know why they need to go back that far. I do think it's intimidating, I think it's uncomfortable, and of course, I bet it feels like a complete invasion of privacy, especially when you've been through something like a rape and you're already feeling just so vulnerable. The police do actually face legal action over this, by the way, so this is obviously something that many victims, not just this one lady, feels the same about, and I don't blame them at all, honestly. Many people, both specialists and victims, say that the practice of having to hand over your phone to the authorities when you've been raped is unnecessary and a massive deterrent for those who wish to report these kinds of crimes. This is a very, very big thing for so many people. You have to sign a consent form to say that you're okay with the police basically dragging up all of your online and phone usage history, or in fact any technology usage at all. You could be handing your laptop over. The horrendous thing about this is that it is absolutely compulsory for victims to do this. Victims either hand their phones to the police or they simply just don't get their case investigated. And I think that's wrong. Is it just me that thinks that? I mean, I realise many people are possibly going to come forward and say that these victims are basically refusing to give more evidence to the police, or they're stopping them from doing their jobs in some way. However, I don't agree with that at all. And another victim who also wishes to remain unnamed thinks the exact same thing. And this person does quote, "This isn't about trying to stop the police from putting together the facts of the case. This isn't about objecting to the police downloading information from the time that it happened. This is about objecting to the police downloading 7 years of information that predates the event and therefore has zero relevance," end quote. I mean, what can I say other than I didn't actually realise it was a requirement for victims to hand over their phones in order for an investigation to continue, a rape investigation to continue, a serious crime. I didn't know that until reading through this article and a couple of others as well. It's not even like they are solely using your data from the time of the attack. They're taking years and years of information that really isn't necessary at all. But I'm wanting to know your thoughts on this. Do you think the police should be able to continue ordering rape victims to hand over their phones and other devices? Or do you think that this is something that really needs to be changed? Do you think it's a massive invasion of privacy? In a way, is it kind of taking advantage of already vulnerable people? Let me know in the comment section down below. All the sources I use to create this video will also be in the description box, so you can go and check them out if you wish to. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I do hope that you found this interesting. If you did, make sure to leave this video a thumbs up. If you are new here, click on that subscribe button, and I hope to see you in my next video.